I'm Daryl Lane.
And I'm Noah Taluki.
And you're listening to the 5th episode of What's Your Take? Houston Texans owner Bob McNair found himself in hot water last weekend when he was quoted as saying, "You can't let the inmates run the prison," in reference to NFL players at the owners' meeting. So, Noah, how bad does this make Bob McNair look?
Well, Daryl, the national media says that Bob McNair, looks really bad. But I think that the national media blew this completely out of proportion. He's talking about the players and the national anthem, right? He's not saying that NFL players are prisoners. He's using an example.
He's analogizing the prisoners.
He's not calling them prisoners.
Then who are the prisoners in his comments?
He's saying, so for example, Daryl, you don't want prisoners running a prison, right?
Yes.
He's saying he doesn't want NFL players running this whole national anthem thing.
Like a prison.
No, it's not. No, this is the media blew this out of perspective.
When he says prisoners, who's he talking about?
He's using that.
What's the analogy when he's using prisoners? What is the analogy?
Because that's the analogy. People use that all the time.
So you're saying he isn't? No. The proper analogy is you don't let the prisoners run the asylum. You
Still,
don't let the
I don't
inmates run
think
the asylum.
he should not have worded it like that. But it does make him look bad according to national media.
First of all, it's ignorant what he said, and it's disturbing because you see. Here's the thing. You're analogizing. It looks bad when you have a white owner who's analogizing a league that's 70% African American, and he's saying that they are inmates, they're prisoners essentially. That's what he's saying. When you call them, you can say football players. You don't say inmates. That's arrogance. That is the highest order of disrespect.
I don't think he really meant anything of this. He's 80 years old. Sometimes the older generation can misspeak a little bit. But I think, yes, it does make him look bad. Of course, he probably shouldn't have said it like that. But I think the media just kind of blew this out of the water.
How did they blow it out of the water?
Because they're taking examples that people have used before. Like inmates running. People use that all the time.
Yeah, but it doesn't make it right. He was analogizing the prisoners.
He didn't. I don't think he called them. I don't think he referred to them as prisoners.
That's what he said. That's why he even apologized. Why would he apologize if he did nothing wrong?
Because he was forced to because too much media pressure. The battle between Ezekiel Elliott and the NFL continues when the NFL Players Association filed an emergency motion seeking an injunction to block the Cowboys running back from being suspended. So, Daryl, should Ezekiel Elliott keep fighting his suspension or just accept it?
No, he should not keep fighting it because sometimes you just need to take your medicine and go home. He's not going to win. Tom Brady didn't win in court. Colin Kaepernick probably won't win. What makes Ezekiel Elliott thinks he's going to win? The collective bargaining allows Roger Goodell to do whatever he wants. There's no way he wins in court. He's just prolonging the inevitable.
Well, I feel like this could be a whole Tom Brady thing all over again. He plays the whole year, and then they'll just worry about it in the offseason. I know he's suspended for Sunday's game, but that could change within a matter of hours, even days. So we definitely will have to look forward to that. But also, Ezekiel Elliott's been tearing it up this year for the Cowboys. It seems like every game he just gets better and better, and that's something that the Cowboys really, really want to see from him. But in terms of the suspension, I think he's going to play. I really do. And
no, should he accept the suspension?
Should he accept?
Yes.
No, he's going to keep fighting. He will. He wants to play.
No, I'm saying what he should do is accept the suspension.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. Zeke has too much fight in him, too much heart into the game to give in. Plus, this is something that Ohio State should have dealt with when he was in the university. So I don't know why. I don't know what the big fuss is about right now. The Ohio State should have dealt with this. But another example of tearing down our athletes.
It was the second time with the NFL when she accused him of domestic violence. Then he allegedly fights a man at the bar. He speeds 90 miles per hour on the highway. They catch him going into a weed dispensary. And he's doing all this, and he's acting a fool. And he pulls down the woman's top on St. Patrick's Day, too. And he does all this when they're investigating him.
Well, he needs to calm down with that for sure.
Well, what I'm saying is, in all likelihood, the NFL has they're the law of the land.
Sometimes
the CBA gives them the power to do whatever they want.
that stardom sometimes can really get to people.
I'm saying the NFL has the power to do whatever they want. Ezekiel Elliott will get suspended. It doesn't matter if it's now or if it's later. He will eventually get suspended. He can't win in court. The CBA allows him to do everything that they want to do. That's what the CBA allows the NFL to do.
All right.
The New England Patriots made a shocking deadline move on Monday night, trading quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo to the San Francisco 49ers for a second-round pick. So no, will the Patriots regret trading for Jimmy Garoppolo, or will the 49ers regret trading for him?
Daryl, this is a classic Bill Belichick trade. I mean, he loves building his team from the ground up, and he does that by getting draft picks. And I find this to be a little interesting, though, that they traded Garoppolo because a few years ago they drafted Garoppolo to be groomed as Tom Brady's backup. And I thought that whenever Tom Brady retired, Garoppolo would step in, be like that Rodgers and Brett Favre, kind of coming in there. I don't know if Garoppolo's at that caliber like Rodgers, but you get my point. I think that maybe Belichick sees something in this upcoming draft that could be worth something in the second round that could help build his team to more championship caliber. So by shipping Jimmy Garoppolo over to San Francisco, I think San Francisco's going to win a few more games. Plus, Hoyer is back in New England. He already knows the system. He knows Josh McDaniels. John Carroll grad. He knows the Patriot way, the Patriot culture. So Brian Hoyer is a reliable backup to Tom Brady. This is an upgrade at the backup position, I think.
Wait, what? Well, you think Brian Hoyer is better than Jimmy Garoppolo?
He definitely has more experience. He has more in-game experience. Yes, he has not been proven that Jimmy Garoppolo can really play. I mean, he had those 2 games last year.
So the San Francisco 49ers traded for Jimmy Garoppolo, and they cut Brian Hoyer. And you think that Jimmy Garoppolo is better than Brian Hoyer?
At this point, yes.
So then why didn't the 49ers just keep Brian Hoyer?
Because they wanted to move on. They want to go with a younger quarterback. They see some potential. He likes Kyle Shanahan. I think Bill Belichick's really good friends with the Shanahans over there in San Francisco. And he trusts that Jimmy Garoppolo will develop. With the 49ers, with a young coach, this team could be on the uprise in the next few years.
First of all, Brian Hoyer's a scrub.
Way to diss a Cleveland guy, Daryl.
I don't care. You can't play the game. But the reason they traded Jimmy Garoppolo was because you don't want to pay 2 quarterbacks franchise money. And Tom Brady, who consistently takes pay cuts, you can't justify paying the backup even more money than you pay Tom Brady. That would be asinine. It would make no sense.
You know what? It's all about.
That's why they traded him, because it makes no. Why would you have 2 backup quarterbacks and pay 2 backup quarterbacks starting quarterback money? Why would you do that?
That's
you don't do that in New England. That's why
you don't want to be like Mike Glennon.
That's why New England wins, because they don't do foolish things like that on the San Francisco 49ers side. I think this is a great trade. I don't think there's really a loss, because if Jimmy Garoppolo flops, they're still gonna get the 1 or 2 pick in the draft. They can get Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Lamar Miller, whoever comes out, they can get one of the top quarterbacks if Jimmy Garoppolo flops. And if Jimmy Garoppolo is really good, then they can add a defensive player, a wide receiver, an offensive lineman, something like that. So I don't think there's really any loss to this with the 49ers.
Good point, Daryl. I mean, the Niners building that young team, could they be a contender in the next few years? Could they have 2 quarterbacks in the draft with possibly Rosen or Darnold, one of those guys with Garoppolo? Could we see a quarterback controversy number 2 in San Francisco like we had with Montana and Steve Young?
Wait, a quarterback? Wait, what?
If they draft a quarterback in the draft, we could see a competition between Garoppolo and that rookie quarterback for possibly next season.
They wouldn't draft a rookie quarterback. That'd be redundant.
You never know. Those GMs, Jed York, could have a little trick up his sleeve over there in the Bay Area.
That would be stupid if they did that.
This past World Series was one of the most exciting ever, with the Houston Astros beating the Los Angeles Dodgers in thrilling 7-game series in which both teams combined for 25 home runs, the most ever in a World Series. So, Daryl, how much does the exciting play of the World Series go into helping baseball rise in popularity again?
I think it helps. I don't think it helps as much as you would think, but I think it does help, because I think it's really good. everybody loves the long ball. Everybody loves home runs. Seeing offensive displays like in Game 5, when the games went to extra innings, I think that stuff is exciting. And I think even in the first game, it was the shortest ever in the World Series. I think that type of stuff really helps baseball because it makes it quicker, more fast-paced, more exciting, more offense. I think that all goes into it, but we also have to take into account that every team's not always going to be the Astros and the Dodgers. I mean, both of those teams are really good teams that were really hot. They were letting it fly. So I think it helps, but I don't think it's necessarily the most sustainable thing, and I don't think it'll help as much as we might think it will.
Zero, we know my
Please
guy.
don't say his name.
My guy, Justin Verlander, that's why I got the shirt on today. His first ever World Series ring, he totally deserved that one. He was dealt August 31st from the Tigers, my team, at the deadline to help this World Series Astros team get over that hump. Great series for Justin Verlander. Just to get that out there first. But, Daryl, I've always been a baseball guy. You know, I know football and, you know, even you could say basketball is a little more popular than baseball because people, you know, we live in a society where everything's fast, you know. Baseball is, there's certain aspects that are fast. We want speedy players. We want, you know, that high 90s fastball. You know, we want that guy that has it, right? But the thing is, in terms of the national perspective, or, you know, what most sports fans think, they think baseball is slow. There's not a whole lot of action like there is in basketball.
Though?
I do like fast-paced, but you know what? Don't you want to go see, you know, good old ball game, Daryl? You know, take me out to the ball game. No. You don't want to see that?
I mean, I don't necessarily, not more than some other. I mean, it's too slow.
I like it. I mean, I like to get out to old Comerica Park and watch my Tigers on a good old weekday afternoon, on maybe a Friday night, just chill like that. I still see the Tigers were the worst team in the MLB this year. The stands were still packed, Daryl. Baseball, at least in Detroit, is still very popular in watching. And also, I see youth leagues all over the place with baseball. Maybe it's a little bit declining every year, but I don't think this is going to be a big deal. Of course, I mean, it already was a big sport before this World Series. But you know what? People might be like, hey, maybe next year we have a little more hope with the MLB. We have a little more high scoring. I know they set the record for most home runs in a season from the whole entire MLB. So that's exciting. I love to see the long ball.
I know baseball would be more exciting if there were steroids.
Oh, Daryl, you know what? This PED substance, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, we know. It would be much more exciting, though. The defending Eastern Conference champions, Cleveland Cavaliers, have struggled to begin the season with a 3-5 record, losing to teams like the New York Knicks and the Brooklyn Nets. So, no, how worried are you about the Cleveland Cavaliers' 3-5 start?
Daryl, you know I'm a Pistons guy. Not really. But I'll cheer for any Detroit team. But do not worry about the Cleveland Cavaliers. Because, think about it, Daryl. You got all these new guys on the team.
Like who?
You got Isaiah Thomas.
He's not playing.
He's still hurt, but once he gets back in there, he's got it. You know, he's going to get... We got Derrick Rose, D. Wade, that other guy, forgot his name. But you got all these guys who have been MVP considerations before, who kind of have big heads on them.
Dwayne Wade's not that guy anymore.
So, but still... The chemistry is not, and even LeBron says that the chemistry is not there yet.
J.R. Smith is playing atrocious.
The chemistry will get there.
Derrick Rose can't shoot, and Isaiah Thomas is a ball-dominant point guard. How's that going to work with LeBron James? LeBron James holds onto the ball so much. How's that going to work?
The chemistry will develop. I bet you by mid-season they'll be in better form.
Isaiah Thomas is coming back. You think Isaiah Thomas is going to be okay just sitting on the three-point line waiting for LeBron James to penetrate and kick it out to him? You think Isaiah is going to be happy with that?
As long as he scores.
When he was the guy, it doesn't work that way. The world revolves around LeBron on that team. LeBron's the one, especially now that Kyrie's gone.
He wants to win a championship again. He wants to do it for his city.
And Isaiah Thomas is a defense, like the stuff, like they can't play defense. Dwayne Wade's 35. Dwayne Wade's old. LeBron can't play defense consistently the way he used to be able to through the course of a 48-minute game. J.R. Smith can't play defense. Isaiah Thomas can't play defense. Derrick Rose can't play defense. Kevin Love's a defensive liability. They can't check anybody.
They're going to gel. I think they're going to be the beasts of the East coming up Not the Pistons started out 5-2. That's the other competition that they have right now in the division, in the Central.
So Derrick Rose is going to suddenly learn how to shoot?
Yes, he will.
Why?
He's going to come back. He's going to get back into some basketball shape.
He's been in the league since 2009. He still can't shoot. Dwayne Wade can't shoot.
He won an MVP. So that means he must have been able to shoot.
No. He was always an awful three-point shooter. He just got to the rim. Never. This is why we don't talk basketball. No.
Draymond Green of the Golden State Warriors, guy I met before once actually, got into an altercation with Bradley Beal of the Washington Wizards last Friday when the result was both being kicked out of the game, and Draymond was fined $25,000. So, Daryl, is Draymond Green starting to become more trouble than he's worth?
Absolutely not. Draymond is exactly what the Warriors need. On every team, you need a guy that's a little bit out there. You know what? Shannon Sharp says this, and it's really good. On a team, you need guys that are going to go to the strip club, and you need guys that are going to go to church. That's what you need. You need it split. You need those type of guys, and you need those other type of guys. And Draymond is that stabilizing force on that team. On a team with a lot of soft guys, Klay Thompson's not physically opposing, Steph Curry's not, Kevin Durant's not. Draymond's that glue. He's that toughness. And yes, he'll get in fights sometimes and go over the edge, but that's what they need because he gives them that edge that they wouldn't have otherwise.
Well, let me tell you a story about Draymond Green for a minute, Daryl. Me being a big Michigan State basketball fan, Cassius Winston, my old classmate, playing basketball there right now. I watched a lot of Michigan State basketball growing up, and this is where Draymond went. And I was a huge Draymond Green fan. I loved how he could dribble and shoot and do all that stuff at 6'7", 250 pounds. And I told my friends, he was a second round pick in the NBA draft. I told my friends, I said, you watch, this guy's gonna be a force one day. That they said, oh no, he's sitting the bench right now for the Warriors. That was his rookie year, his second year in the league. I said, no, you guys, you watch. He will become a force. Sure enough, my prediction was right with Draymond, and he is one of the best forces in not the MLB, the NBA. So, but I think Draymond plays with a chip on his shoulder a little bit. You know what? The doubters, he still is thinking about those doubters that doubted him in that NBA draft from a few years ago. And fall into that second round, he has that chip on his shoulder, say, hey, I still want to prove you wrong.
What does that have to do with him? Wait, so is he more trouble than he's worth?
So what I'm saying is he plays with that chip on his shoulder, and part of the reason and part of the things that result in playing with that chip on the shoulder sometimes get a little chippy.
So is it
with
worth
players with like Bradley Beal? I'm saying he needs to calm down a little bit with the kicking, like he did with Steven Adams in the finals and all that. Don't fight. That's not how sports should be played. Controlled aggression, controlled anger, that's gonna win. That's gonna win you games, and that's gonna be the deciding factor on gelling with your teammates.
But he gels with them anyway, and he still fights people. they love him. They love him because he protects them. He's their guy. That's why.
Well,
that aggression, that anger is why they love him so much. Because every game he's going to battle with you. He's gonna be there. He's your guy.
He's a nice. He's a nice guy off the court too, Daryl. When I remember meeting him, and that was a lot of fun meeting him. He was a great guy. But on the basketball court, he's got that mean streak in him, but controlled.
You can't control it. But anyway, Giannis Antetokounmpo has been playing extraordinary to start the year, averaging 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. So Noah, is Giannis now the best player in the NBA?
Well, Daryl, we do have 75 more games to play or something like that.
Yes.
Right now, if the NBA MVP was given out for the first 7 games, I agree. I do think he would win the MVP
No,
now.
is he the best player? The MVP isn't the best player.
Well, you can't judge just through 7 games. You got to see throughout the whole.
I'm saying even if you won the MVP, I'm saying the MVP does not mean you're the best player. The best player for the last 10 years has been LeBron.
Well, season by season?
No, LeBron's consistently the best player. When LeBron turns
okay,
around,
consistent.
He's
yes.
better than everybody else.
But the fact is that I do think he's one of the emerging stars of the NBA. And who from Greece plays in the NBA? That's what else is special about him. He runs the floor so fast.
To actually answer the question, Noah, since you just tap dance better than Gregory Hines. I don't know how, because you don't strike me as a dancer. You don't strike me.
I have no rhythm.
And I don't know how you tap dance like that. But Giannis is a top 10 player in the NBA. I'll give him that. He's
Already?
Maybe if you want to argue, well, no, I mean, he's better than a lot of people. He's not, I wouldn't say he's a top 5. He's definitely not top 3. He's not better than LeBron. He's not better than Kevin Durant. And he's not better than Kawhi Leonard. And I would probably still take Russell Westbrook over him. And I would take Steph Curry. And I'd probably take James Harden. So then after that, you can argue Giannis with guys like Anthony Davis and Marcus Cousins, but I mean, I think those guys are in like a category together. So no, he's not the best player in the NBA. He will not end the season as the best player in the NBA. And will he ever be the best player in the NBA? That's yet to be determined. But he's playing hellacious right now.
Once LeBron retires, he could be up there.
You have Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, but I mean, the dude is, 6'11" and runs the floor.
Have you seen Kawhi Leonard?
He's a beast.
Mid-range game, can drive, can play defense. He's the best defender in the NBA by far.
Time will tell, Daryl, about the best in the NBA. But this past Tuesday, the first set of the College Football Playoff Committee rankings came out with Georgia as number 1, Alabama as number 2, Notre Dame 3, Clemson 4, Oklahoma 5, and the Ohio State Buckeyes at number 6. So, Daryl, did the College Football Committee get their first installment of college football rankings right?
You know what? I do disagree with Georgia being number 1 over Alabama, but you can have it either or, and I think they'll both settle out who's the real best team in the country and Atlanta for the SEC title game. So I don't think that really matters. That's just nitpicking. I would say I think Notre Dame is too high at 3. I would probably actually have Clemson at 3, and I would put Ohio State in at 4. And then I would have Oklahoma at 5, and you could have Notre Dame at 6 or whatever. But I don't have a major problem with it. I think it'll sort itself out eventually, and I think right now those are probably the 4 best teams. So it's not that big of a deal to me.
Well, you know what, Daryl? Alabama has been ranked number 1 for so long, and I am
being
surprised.
ranked in the AP poll and being in the College Football Committee poll, those are 2 different things.
I am surprised that Georgia did get number 1, even in the College Football Playoff rankings. But at the same time, I think the College Football Playoff Committee wanted to mix things up a little bit. I think they wanted to say, hey, let's get some people talking when we get Georgia number 1. Interesting take on their part, because Georgia lost Jacob Eason earlier this year for the season. And they have my man from that QB1 documentary series that was online that I saw, Jake Fromm, starting at quarterback from Houston County High School in Warner Robins, Georgia. So I really like Jake Fromm. He doesn't throw the ball a ton, not for many yards, but he gets the job done, and that's what I like about him. 6'2", 225 pounds. They have one of the best running games in the country as well, and defense has been lighting people up.
So they should be 1.
But you know what? Alabama has been doing the same thing to people. I mean, they go to Tennessee and just blow out. You know, anytime it's on the road in the SEC, it's tough, and they're blowing teams out of the water. They have so much depth all over the place. They got so many NFL guys on the team. I could see the college football playoff, why they wanted to go with Georgia. But you're right, Daryl. I do agree. It will sort itself out. Notre Dame.
Well, I'm usually right.
Oh, you think you're always right, Daryl. But yes, Notre Dame. But I want to get to Notre Dame because when Michigan State lost to them this year, I remember thinking, wow, Notre Dame's going to be ranked now, and that's interesting. But I never thought that they would be in the top 5 in anything. You know, AP, college football playoff, whatever. But Brian Kelly, man, like, he's been on the hot seat for eternity, it seems like, and he's really pulled this team together so far. And if Notre Dame keeps it up, they're going. They're going to go to the college football playoff again. And
they've never been in the playoff.
Or, excuse me, they went to the championship game against Alabama,
and they got whacked.
So but they still, you know, the postseason, you know, the championship and all that. So I could see them going again. Could we have another Alabama Notre Dame rematch?
It's going to be Alabama, Georgia.
The luck of the Irish and the Crimson Tide battle it out in the Mercedes-Benz.
No, I don't think you
Stadium.
truly answered the question, but that's okay because
I told you I agreed.
We love you the way you are, and that is it for What's Your Take?
I'm no tool.